Good day, class. Today we will discuss PPSA or RA 11057. So our intended learning outcomes today is to know the general provisions of the PPSA, to learn the process demarcated in the PPSA, and to apply principles learned in the subject in a given problem or case study. Okay. So this is a very significant legislative measure, no, kaning PPSA. This is actually aimed at modernizing and strengthening the legal framework surrounding secured transactions in the Philippines. So basically, kaning balaod na establishes a comprehensive structure for the creation, perfection, and enforcement of security interest in personal property. Sige, tagbalik-balik no, security interest. Later on, we will know unsa man day ng security interest. Okay? So by fostering economic activity, especially among the micro, the small, and the medium enterprises, kaning balaod na aims to enhance access to affordable credit. Okay? Through the establishment of a centralized notice registry, it further seeks to ensure the orderly determination of priority and the proper enforcement of security interest, contributing to the broader goal of economic development and legal certainty in the country. So with the PPSA, no, gipalapdan ang access sa credit. Sa una, ang mga bangko, ang mga credit institutions would allow you to borrow money if you present a collateral. And ang usual nga collateral daw gamito no or dawaton na nila kanaarag yung mga vehicles, motor, sakyanan, 'di ba? But with the advent of the PPSA gipalapdan ang pwede nang mahimong collateral sa usa ka debtor, okay? Or obligor and as the case may be, 'di ba? So kaning PPSA nindot kaayo because it actually opens, no? It widens access to credit or to the financial institutions aning ato ang mga gagmay nga mga enterprises, specifically kaning gitawag natog MSMEs, the micro, small and medium enterprise. Okay, and it's very apparent in the declaration of policy. In the declaration of policy, gibutang gidiha, no? It is the policy of the state to promote economic activity by increasing access to least cost credit, particularly for micro, small, and medium enterprises, by establishing a unified and modern legal framework for security obligations with personal property. Okay, before ta mo adto no sa mga delicate nga provisions, let's look at first some of the key terms no nga atong masugatan aning PPSA. Okay? So kani nga particular provision no, um Section 3, Paragraph A of the PPSA. This basically defines what constitutes a commodity contract. Okay? Ang kaning commodity contract, no, this can be one of the several types of contracts related to commodities. So, ang commodity contract daghan na siya og mga kinds, nagkalain-lain no nga kinds or types of contracts relating to commodities. So how do we define commodity contract? It is an option on a commodity futures contract, a commodity option, or another contract if the contract or option is traded on or is subject to the rules of board or trade that has been designated as a contract market for a contract, or traded on a foreign commodity board of trade, exchange, or market, and is carried on the books of commodity intermediary for a commodity customer. Okay? At usan sa tagsaon ng mga terminuhan, indre a commodity futures contract. Unsa nang commodity futures contract? This is actually a contract no to buy or sell a commodity at a future date. Okay? At a future date. Sa may example, ana, I don't know if you've been watching Netflix, no? Na ako'y nakitaan sa Netflix bago o kaning Potato Lab. Kana sila, tigbuhat sila og mga potato chips and they would grow their own potato, and if di sila ka-grow og own nila nga potato, they would ask the farmers, no, na to grow the potato based sa ilahang mga gipang gamit ng mga seedlings. Ilang gi-develop ng mga seedlings, okay? And they would enter into a contract with these farmers or group of farmers, no? And then later on, they would say na amo nang paliton ang inyuhang mga potato later on. So kaning particular contract is what we call commodity futures contract. Okay? A contract to buy or sell a commodity at a future date. Lain dira ang makita nimo no sa definition sa commodity contract kay an option on a commodity futures contract. So na siya. It is a right to buy or sell a commodity futures contract. Di ba gani ha? May kag commodity futures contract, ang kontrata na mismo to buy and sell. But option on a commodity futures contract, right na. Okay? It's a right to buy or sell a commodity futures contract. Okay? Kaning commodity option, unsa man ni? It's a right to buy or sell a commodity itself, not a futures contract. Okay? Nya na po'y another type of contract relating to commodity as long as it meets certain criteria in accordance with the provisions no of the PPSA and another commercial transactions. Okay? Di man ni no sa finance, mo yung kag futures contract, um mao ni siya ang standardized legal contract to buy or sell something at a predetermined price for delivery at a specified time in the future between parties not yet known to each other. Okay? So, atong gitanaw, di ba, na yung criteria, no? If the contract or option is traded on or subject to the rules of trade. So, may pasabutan eh. Kung may kag traded on as a designated contract market, no? This means that the contract is traded on a recognized board of trade, which is a formal marketplace or exchange that is specifically designated to handle such type of contracts. Okay? Kumingong kaning traded on a foreign commodity market, um, ang situation ani is that if the contract is traded on an exchange outside the country, but is still carried on the books of a commodity intermediary, for example, kanang mga broker or trader, for a commodity customer and it qualifies as a commodity contract. Okay? So in essence, no, kaninga provision ensures that the contracts related to commodities, whether traded domestically or internationally, are regulated and recorded in a way that ensures their legitimacy and compliance with financial standards. Okay? Ganihan nagisgutan noon sa tong mga commodity futures contract, option on a commodity futures contract, commodity option, and other contracts. So mga kay example aning commodity futures contract. Mo to kung ngayon ganiha, di ba? Katong about potato lang. How about kaning option on a commodity futures contract? Example ana, for example, there is a Filipino coffee exporter. Okay? Kanang Filipino coffee exporter may enter into an option contract on, let's say, X coffee futures traded internationally, where they can choose to buy or sell a futures contract as at a certain price to mitigate the risk if the coffee prices would fluctuate. Okay? So mo na siya ang example. Um a commodity option. So may example aning commodity option. For example, sa ka Manila-based trader, no? Mo enter into an option um that grants them the right to buy or sell a gold in the future. Kung gold ba? And typically traded through international brokers or local financial institutions. Kaning nga option, no, would allow traders in the Philippines to assess already on the price movement of gold. And usa na siya sa mga example on a commodity option. Okay? So, I hope no klaro na siya. Kaning commodity contracts are actually used no frequently by businesses in the Philippines, particularly those in the agriculture, in the energy and mining as a way to hedge against the volatility of the commodity prices. So kaning mga business individuals no may even trade these contracts to profit from the price movements in commodities like oil, sugar, or precious metals. Nganong gisgutan man ni diri? Because kaning commodity contract may actually be used as a collateral for a loan under the PPSA. Mao na nga gihisgutan nato ni to secure an obligation, a commodity contract may be used no under the PPSA. Nya doon na pud tay term nga masugatan no kaning control agreement, that's in paragraph 4, okay, of of PPSA. Yung control agreement, this is actually an agreement in writing between the grantor and the secured creditor which perfect the security interest over intangible asset. So in the context of the PPSA, the provision and control agreements outline how certain assets pledged as collateral in a secure transaction are being handled. So under sa PPSA, kani nga mga control agreements would ensure that a secured creditor can exercise control over a collateral without further consent from the grantor. It could either be the borrower or the pledger, di ba? So with the control agreement, no, di na kinahanglan nga naay consent from the grantor in order for the secured creditor to exercise control over the collateral. Muna ta sa nagsaon na nato unsa ni nga mga types of collateral which can be a subject to a control agreement. Okay? So, ang una na is kaning control agreement with respect to securities. This means an agreement in writing among the issuer of the intermediary, the grantor, and the secured creditor, according to which the issuer or the intermediary agrees to follow instructions from the secured creditor with respect to the security without further consent from the grantor. So, pasabot ani. Under this law, under the PPSA, ang control agreement relating to securities is a written agreement among the issuer or intermediary, the grantor, tanawa ha, the issuer, the grantor, and the secured creditor. Okay? Wherein the issuer or the intermediary agrees to follow the instructions of the secured creditor with respect to the security without needing further consent from the grantor. Okay? Unsa man ni, how would it work? How can this be possible? Um, Actually, no, kanilang type of agreement actually ensures nga ang secured creditor can enforce his or her rights over the securities nga gi-pledge or gihimong collateral by the grantor in the event of default. So the agreement, the control agreement actually gives the creditor the right to direct the intermediary or the issuer to act on his instruction or on her instruction without needing the borrower's approval. So may example, ana. For example, ang borrower, iyang i-pledge ang stocks niya as collateral for a loan. So the control agreement will allow the creditor to instruct the financial institution managing these stocks to sell them or transfer ownership in case of default without asking the borrower's consent. Okay? So but you have to know also nga mahitabo lang na no in case of default. Okay? Na ikaduha dihang type no control agreement with respect to the rights to deposit account means an agreement in writing among the deposit-taking institution, the grantor, the secured creditor, according to which the deposit-taking institution agrees to follow the instructions from the secured creditor with respect to the payment of funds credited to the deposit account without further consent from the grantor. Okay? Kanipod siya ensures that if a deposit account is pledged as collateral, the creditor can access and control the funds in the account without further permission from the grantor. This is an essential feature no under the PPSA because it provides the creditor a quicker route no to recover the debt in case of the borrower's default. So example, if ang company iyahang prinda ang iyahang bank account or himuon niya iyang bank account as collateral for a loan, the control agreement would allow the creditor to direct the bank to withdraw funds from the account no in order to settle the loan no without needing the company's approval if ang kaning company nga nangutang defaults on its obligation. Okay? Mao na siya ang significance sa control agreement. Another thing is control agreement with respect to commodity contracts. Kato atong gihisgutan ganiha, di ba? This type of agreement is in writing among the grantor, the secured creditor, and intermediary, according to which the commodity intermediary will apply any value distributed on account of the commodity contract as directed by the secured creditor without further consent from the commodity customer or grantor. Okay? So, may example, ani, if a farming company iyang gamito ng iyang coconut oil future contract as collateral. Okay? Kay ning panalitan ning obtain siya loan. Okay? Ang kanang control agreement will ensure that the creditor can direct the commodity intermediary like katong broker to apply any proceeds from the sale of the coconut oil directly to settle the debt without needing approval from the farming company. Okay? Maunang significance anang control agreement. Okay? So, in some, no, kaning control agreements under the PPSA actually provide a clear framework for secured creditors to take control of various types of collaterals. But specific na siya nga types of collateral sa unsa tong una, securities, deposit accounts, and commodity contracts. Okay? Without needing or without requiring further consent from the borrower or from the grantor. Okay? Kaning nga mechanism actually ensures no that creditors have a secure and efficient way to recover the value of their loans by directly controlling the pledged assets, thereby minimizing risk in case of default on the part of the borrower. Okay? In the definition of terms, you will also come across the term grantor, okay? So si grantor could be a person who grants a security interest and collateral to secure its own obligation or that of another person. A grantor can actually also be a buyer or other transferee of a collateral that requires its right subject to a security interest. It could also be a transferor in an outright transfer of an accounts receivable or a lessee of goods. Okay? So daghan no ang naglangkob sa term nga grantor. Okay? Um, in the definition of terms, you also come across the term non-intermediated securities, notice, proceeds, and the purchase money security interest. Okay? So, kining purchase money security interest, no, it's a security interest in goods taken by the seller to secure the price or by a person who gives value to enable the grantor to acquire the goods and extend that to the credit or acquire the goods to the extent that the credit is used for that purpose. Okay? So, some example, aning PMSI, no? Seller's PMSI or purchase money security interest. So, a person purchases a washing machine from an appliance store. Okay? Ang kanang store no retains a security interest in the washing machine until the buyer fully pays for it. So if the buyer defaults, the store can actually repossess the washing machine. Okay? Muna example anang security interest in goods taken by a seller to secure the price. Okay, mo ng seller's PMSI. How about kaning third-party lender's PMSI? Kaning ikaduha nga phrase, kaning by a person who gives value to enable the grantor to acquire the goods to the extent that the credit is used for that purpose. So, may example, ani, a buyer takes out a loan from a bank to purchase an electronic device. Okay? So, the bank provides the loan specifically for that device. And in return, the bank holds a PMSI or purchase money security interest in the device until the loan is repaid. So if the buyer defaults, the bank has the right to claim the device, okay, under the purchase money security interest. Okay? Amazing sad no na ano na yung term ngayon, ana. But we already do that in practice in our experience no as an ordinary layman in the community. Kibaw na. But it's amazing to know that this is actually termed as purchase money security interest. Okay, I hope you're also amazed. Parihan ako nga na-amaze, okay? You will also be encountering the term registry, which you will see later on, no, if no no, which you can actually see in the PPSR, or the Personal Property Security Registry. I've shown this in my class, no, previously, and if you have time, you can browse through the website of the PPSR. Diha nimo makita ang registry. We have the term secured creditor. Kinsa man ni siya? A person that has a security interest. So for the purpose of registration and priority only, it includes a buyer of account receivable and a lessor of goods under an operating lease for not less than 1 year. Okay? Sige, tagbalik-balik term sa security interest. O something ng security interest. When we talk about security interest, it is a property right in collateral that secures payment or other performance of an obligation, regardless of whether the parties have denominated it as a security interest and regardless of the type of asset, the status of the grantor, secured creditor, or the nature of the secured obligation, including the right of a buyer of accounts receivable, apil gani na ang lessor under an operating lease for not less than 1 year. Okay? Um, And you will also note, no, you will also note here that for purposes of this act, no, writing includes electronic records. Okay? So look at these terms, no. So may kag security interest mo na imong property right in a collateral. Okay? So it is termed as security interest. Okay? Now, also note, no, na kaning PPSA, no, it shall apply to all transactions of any form that secure an obligation with movable collateral. So, meaning, katong ato ang balao diin pledge and chattel mortgage, no, na repeal na aning balaod na, except for some provisions, no, nga na-retain ra specified in the transitory provisions. Okay? Pero timan-an ninyo nga with respect to aircrafts and ships, di na siya covered sa PPSA. Because for aircrafts, no, ang aircrafts are subject to RA 9497 or the Civil Aviation Authority Act of 2008. And with respect to interest on ships, no, subject na siya to PD 1521 or the Ship Mortgage Decree of 1970. Okay? Um, if you look at the PPSA, no, and its IRR, you will see na ang PPSA applies to all types of transactions that create a security interest in personal property. And regardless na siya sa form, whether it's for loans or leases or conditional sales. Okay? So it covers both existing and future property, including the accounts receivable, inventory, equipment, livestock, consumer goods, intellectual property rights, investment property such as shares of stock or fixtures. Okay? And this broad definition of personal property allows various assets to be collateralized, enhancing the flexibility of the security arrangements. Okay? Now, it's also important to know, no, the stages in the life of a security interest. Ang una, Ana, of course, is the creation. So creation is created under the PPSA by a security agreement. Okay, so with the security agreement, ma-create ang security interest. Okay, and then we have the perfection. Okay, so a security interest that has been created under the PPSA becomes effective against third parties the moment it is perfected. Okay? So it is with the perfection that it binds third parties. Okay? And enforcement. Later on, makita na to, no, kano sa makonsiderar nga created ang PPSA, kano sa makonsiderar nga perfected ang PPSA. And unsay buhaton for the enforcement of the security interest, no? So, um, for the enforcement, no, enforcement of the right under the security agreement refers to the exercise of the proprietary remedy to dispose, retain, or apply the collateral to satisfy the obligation. So again, later on, makita na to, no, how is a security interest created under the PPSA? How is it perfected under the PPSA? And how is it enforced under this particular law? Okay? So let's now proceed to the creation of security interest. So naadiha, no? A security interest shall be created by a security agreement. A security agreement may provide for the creation of a security interest in a future property, but the security interest in that property is created only when the grantor acquires rights in it or the power to encumber it. Okay? So, unsa din ang security agreement? When we talk about security agreement, we will define that later on. No, wala diri, but a security agreement must be contained in a written contract signed by the parties. It may consist of one or more writings that taken together establish the intent of the parties to create a security interest. So a document that creates a security interest is what we call security agreement. Under this law, no, the DOF or the Department of Finance was actually tasked to prepare a model agreement in plain English and Filipino. But based on my research, ako yung nakitaan nga template no published by the Department of Finance. And if you have seen one, please direct me to the link para makita ko and I can also show it to the rest of the class or to the other students who have not yet seen it. Okay? But of course, you can always create an agreement, no, specifying or establishing the intent of the parties to create a security agreement. Also note that a description of collateral shall be considered sufficient, whether it is specific or general, if it reasonably identifies the collateral, and a description such as all personal property, all equipment, all inventory, or all personal property within a generic category of the grantors or of the grantor shall be sufficient. Okay? So, dili kinahanglan nga specified um, description sa collateral. So long as it can be reasonably identified as a collateral, it is considered to have been to be to sufficient no to describe a particular collateral. Okay? So section 8 no of the PPSA Section 8 of the PPSA addresses the right to proceeds and commingled funds and money. Okay? So, ang una aning paragraph, no? Paragraph A, states na if an individual or business uses personal property like an inventory or an equipment for that matter, no, to secure a loan and this property generates proceeds, the security interest will also cover those proceeds. For example, if a business uses its machinery as collateral for a loan and then sells products made from that machinery, the proceeds from the sale, the money from that sale, are also considered under or covered under the security interest. Okay. Now, if the proceeds are mixed with other funds or commingled with other funds, the security interest will still apply, but with limitations. So, man yung mga limitations, morning na as sa paragraph B. Okay? So, una ana is the security interest extends to commingled funds as long as ang funds are traceable. Okay? So, suppose ang business sells a machine and then receives the payment in its bank account and then later mixes that money with other business revenues, as long as ang katong proceeds can still be identified or traced back to the sale of the machine, the security interest applies to those funds. Okay? Now, if the security interest is commingled or in the commingled funds, is limited to the amount of the proceeds before they were mixed. Okay? Again, the security interest in the commingled funds is limited to the amount of the proceeds before they were mixed. Okay? Example, if the machine sold for 50,000 pesos and later that money was combined with other revenue, the security interest can only claim up to 50,000 pesos no matter how much the account balance has grown. Okay? The next paragraph states that if after the commingling, the balance in the deposit account falls below the amount of the proceeds, the security interest is limited to the lowest balance. Okay? So, may example, ano? Example, if after combining the proceeds from the sale of the machine, which is 50,000 pesos with other funds, the bank account balance drops to 30,000, they drop siya to 30,000, then the security interest would be limited to the 30,000, the lower balance. Okay? So again, no, even if the proceeds becomes even if the proceeds become mixed or commingled with other funds, the security interest remains but is limited to the traceable amount from the original proceeds or the lowest balance after commingling. Mauna ang pasabot aning paragraph B of section 8. Okay? Now let's look at section 10, the contractual limitation on the creation of security interest. Okay? Um, for For paragraph A, mao ni ang effectiveness no of the security interest on accounts receivable. Okay? It states here that a security interest in an account receivable shall be effective, notwithstanding any agreement between the grantor and the account debtor or any secured creditor, limiting in any way the grantor's right to create a security interest. So, for example, if a business um, is the grantor, okay? Grantor ang business. It has a contractual or it has a contract that generates accounts receivable. And then the grantor can actually use these receivables as collateral for the loan, even if there's an agreement with the debtor or a secured creditor that limits the creation of the security interest. Okay? This means nga si grantor katong business can actually create a security interest on the receivable regardless of any agreement that seeks to prevent it. So, may example, a company X Limited has a contract with ABC Corporation, under which the ABC Corporation owes X Limited 100,000 pesos for good supply. So even if there's a clause in their agreement preventing X Limited from using as a collateral the receivable, no, si X Limited can still use the 100,000 pesos receivable as collateral for a loan, and the security interest will be valid. Okay, muna pasabot ang paragraph A. For paragraph B, knowing that no, nothing in this section shall affect any obligation or liability of the grantor for breach of the agreement in subsection A. Okay? Um, uh, Even though ang security interest can be created on the receivables, the grantor, so itong grantor, the one who owes the receivable, no, the grantor is still responsible for any breach of contract they may cause by violating the restriction. So this means that while the security interest is valid, the business or the grantor could still be held liable for violating the contract. Okay? Example, if si X Limited used as a collateral the receivable from ABC Corporation, and the agreement between them states that the receivable cannot be pledged, si X Limited can be sued by ABC Corporation for breaching the contract even though the security interest is still valid. Okay? For the third or for the subsection C, no, or for the paragraph C, no, ingon diri, any stipulation limiting the grantor's right to create security interest shall be void. Any contract clause, no, that would attempt to prevent the creation of a security interest in accounts receivable will be considered void, meaning it has no legal effect. So the law overrides such clauses, ensuring that receivables can always be used as collateral. So a business agreement between two companies might include a clause stating that no accounts receivable can be used as collateral. So according aning a subsection, that clause will have no effect, and the business can still use as collateral the receivables. Okay? So muna ipasabot anang void stipulation. And then we also have subsection D. This section shall apply only to accounts receivable arising from a contract for the supply or lease of goods or services other than financial services. We have construction contracts, contracts related to real property, and contracts related to intellectual property. Okay, so my example, ani, for example, a construction company may have an agreement with a client to deliver construction services. So if the company is owed money under that contract, it can still use as a collateral the receivable for a loan, even if the client's agreement tries to prevent it. Okay? So again, no, kaning section 10 ensures that businesses can actually use accounts receivable, even those arising from certain contracts, no, like construction contracts, contract of supply, na. as collateral, regardless of the clauses in the agreements that try to prevent it. So it protects the grantor's right to secure loans using receivables, but does not absolve them from liability for breaching agreements as provided for in subparagraph B. Okay? Okay, let's now go to section 11, chapter 3, perfection of security interest. Okay. So again, a security interest shall be perfected knowing it has been created and the secured creditor has taken one of the actions in accordance with section 12. So may nasa section 12, a security interest may be perfected by registration of notice with the registry, katong gayon ninyo, which you can actually access through the PPSR, no, the Property Security Registry, a personal property security registry. Okay. And then by the possession of the collateral by the secured creditor and the control of investment property and deposit account. Okay. Also note that the security interest in any tangible asset may be perfected by registration or possession. A security interest in investment property and deposit account may be perfected by registration or control. Okay? Now, kanus man na ay perfection by control. Okay. Um, a security interest in a deposit account or investment property may be perfected by control through una the creation of a security interest in favor of deposit-taking institution or intermediary. Kasi pasabot ani. In the case of deposit account or investment property, tanawa ha, specific siya ha, deposit account or investment property, okay? The security interest may be created directly in favor of the deposit-taking institution, like banks, di ba? Or intermediary, like a broker or financial institution. This means that the institution or intermediary holds the interest as collateral on behalf of the creditor. Okay? Kaning mechanism, no? This ensures that the financial institution or the intermediary controls the asset, thus perfecting the security interest. For instance, ang borrower, no, may actually give a bank a security interest in their deposit account. And by this act, the bank effectively becomes the holder of the collateral. Okay, that's the first one. Second, perfection by control may be done through the conclusion of a control agreement. Katong gihisgutan ganiha, 'di ba? When we talk about control agreement, it is a formal arrangement, 'di ba, between the grantor, the secured creditor, and the institution or intermediary holding the asset. Kaning agreement defines the control over the collateral and allows the secured creditor to exercise control over it, which perfects the security interest. Okay? So may example ani, example, a company which is the grantor, enters into a control agreement with the bank, allowing the bank to act on behalf of the company to control the deposit account on financial investment used as a collateral. Okay? Una siya. Ikatulo, kaning third paragraph is in cases where the investment property is an electronic security like that of stocks or bonds held electronically. The perfection of the security interest is achieved by noting the security interest in the books maintained by or in behalf of the issuer. The issuer is the entity that issued the securities. Okay, like a corporation, for example. So, example, ang borrower, iyang gigamit ang iyang stock certificates in an electronic format. Ang issuer, ana, will record the creditor's interest in the company's books, okay? Ensuring na the creditor's claim on the stock is perfected. So these are the instances, no, where perfection by control is made, no, or are made through the following: kaning creation of security interest by deposit taking institution, conclusion, o katong notation in the electronic copy or in the books maintained by the issuer for purposes of recording the name of the holder of securities with respect to electronic security. Okay? Diman ini ninyo. Okay? Again, perfection by control actually allows a secured creditor to gain priority over assets such as deposit accounts or investment property. So again, sa to, the methods for perfection include the creation of the security interest in favor of the institution or intermediary. Ikaduha, entering into a control agreement. Ikatulo, katong notation of the security interest for electronic securities. Okay? Kani. Also note, no, nga when a collateral is disposed of, so may pasabot ang disposed of, could be sold, transferred, or otherwise converted, a security interest in the proceeds of that collateral will automatically continue and remain perfected without any further action required by the secured creditor as long as ang katong proceeds are in the form of money, in the form of accounts receivable, negotiable instruments, or deposit accounts. Okay? So may example, if a company uses as a collateral a machinery and then later on sells the machinery, ang kwarta from the sale or accounts receivable resulting from the sale will be subject to the same security interest as the original machinery. And the creditor's claim is automatically perfected in those proceeds. Okay? Maunay naaanang paragraph A. Upon disposition of collateral, a security interest shall extend to proceeds of the collateral without further act and be continuously perfected if the proceeds are in the form of money, accounts receivable, negotiable instruments, or deposit accounts. Okay? Now, if the proceeds of the disposition of collateral are in a form that is not in money, that is not accounts receivable or not negotiable instruments or deposit accounts, the security interest in those proceeds must be perfected by one of the available methods for perfecting the relevant type of collateral within 15 days of the grantor receiving those proceeds. Okay? Mao na ang naa diri sa paragraph B po, di ba? Ang paragraph B, upon disposition of the collateral, if the proceeds are in the form different from money, accounts receivable, etc., etc., the security interest in such proceeds must be perfected daw by one of the means applicable to the relevant type of collateral. Otherwise, na effect no, otherwise, the security interest in such proceeds shall not be perfected or effective against third persons. Okay? So example ani, if a business sells machinery and then receives a new piece of equipment in return instead of money or accounts receivable, ang creditor must perfect their interest in a new equipment within 15 days. Or they risk losing priority over other creditors who might have claims on that equipment. Okay? Maoray pasabot, ana. Okay? Section 15, Section 16, those are matters of reading. Can you read that? And then, no, same principle, no, in your oblique corner, in sales, maybe, na the priority of security interest and liens in the same collateral shall be determined according to the time of registration of a notice or perfection by other means, without regard to the order of creation of security interest and liens. Okay? So take note of that. Also, kining priority po for perfection by control. Tanawan ninyo ha, kinsay na ay mga priority sa security interest in deposit accounts, investment property. So take a look at that. That's stated in section 18. Please browse through that. Okay. Section 19, 20, 21, 22, these are also matters of reading, no? Mga priorities. So kindly read through it. Basahan lang na ninyo guys. Ang kaning section 19, no? Ang possession-based perfection has priority over registration-based perfection for negotiable instruments. Kaning section 20, retaining possession of goods during service or material provision grants priority until payment. Okay? Ang kaning section 21, note that a transfer in good faith and in the ordinary course of business takes movable property free of a security interest, except when it is registered. Okay? Muna yung prinsipyo diha. In section 22, ang principle ani is that a perfected security interest retains its priority even if the grantor becomes insolvent. Okay? Unya mo ni gani ha atong gisgutan about PMSI, no? Kaning section na governs the priority of security interests relating to the purchase of goods, no? Known as the purchase money security interest or PMSIs, okay? Which arise when sa to? There is a loan or when a loan is used to purchase goods and then the goods themselves secure the loan. Okay? For PMSI in equipment, kaning naa sa paragraph A, no? A security interest in equipment and its proceeds takes priority over conflicting security interest if the notice of the purchase money security interest or PMSI is registered within 3 business days after the grantor takes possession of the equipment. Okay? Um, Scenario ani panalitan si Company A nanghuam siyang kwarta from the lender X to purchase equipment. After receiving the equipment on January 1, si Company A registers the notice of the PMSI on January 4. That's 3 days after receiving the equipment. So if Company A had previously pledged or used as a collateral the same equipment for another loan with lender Y, si lender X or the lender X PMSI will have priority over lender Y's conflicting security interest in the equipment because the PMSI was perfected within the required 3 business days. Okay. For the second paragraph or for paragraph B, no, a PMSI in consumer goods like personal items, pareha ng mga furniture, electronics, will have priority over any conflicting security interest if the notice of the PMSI is registered in 3 business days after the grantor takes possession of the goods. Basically, similar, no? Similar rule with paragraph A. Also, for paragraph C, a PMSI is an inventory of intellectual property ni o livestock will have priority over conflicting perfected interest if the PMSI is perfected when the grantor takes possession or acquires rights in the inventory or intellectual property or receives livestock. Before the grantor takes possession or acquires rights to the inventory, livestock, or intellectual property, the PMSI holder notifies the holder of the conflicting perfected interest in writing. And then the notification can apply to multiple transactions. So the PMSI holder doesn't need to identify each one individually. So maunang rule ani no in paragraph C. So may example, anak, for example, si farm company buys livestock from supplier L on credit. Si supplier L perfects the PMSI when farm company receives the livestock. Okay? Supplier L also sends a written notification to Bank B, which holds a perfected security interest in farm company's existing inventory of livestock. So if bank had an earlier claim over the livestock, supplier L's PMSI will take priority provided the notice was sent to farm company or provided nga ang notice was actually sent before the farm company took possession of the livestock. Okay, mo na ang rule in paragraph C. Okay? For paragraph B, no, if a PMSI in equipment or consumer goods is perfected in accordance with subsections A and B, the PMSI will have priority over the rights of any buyers, lessees, or lien holders who acquire rights between the delivery of the goods to the grantor and the registration of the PMSI notice. Okay? So may example, ana, for example, si Company C buys equipment on credit from lender A and receives the equipment on January 1. Si Company A uses the equipment in its business. In the interim, on January 3, Company C sells the equipment to buyer D, who registers a lien on the equipment. Si lender A registers the PMSI on January 5. Okay, ka-follow mo? So lender A's PMSI has priority over buyer D's liens and rights, even though si buyer D acquired the equipment between the delivery and the registration of the PMSI notice. Okay? So take note of those principles. Okay? Again, in paragraph in subsection A, no, PMSI in equipment has priority if notice is registered within 3 days after receiving the equipment. For subparagraph B, PMSI in consumer goods has priority if notice is registered within 3 days after receiving the goods. In subparagraph C, PMSI in inventory, intellectual property, or livestock has priority if perfected and the creditor sends written notice to the conflicting security holder before the grantor takes possession. For subparagraph D, the PMSI in equipment or consumer goods has priority over any rights of buyers, lessees, or lien holders that arise between delivery and notice registration. Okay? So in each of these cases, no, ang timely registration yun mo key to ensuring the PMSI to ensuring that the PMSI takes priority over conflicting claims. All right? And then we have perfected interest in livestock. Okay? Kaning section 27, this pertains to the priority of security interest in livestock, especially when the loan is used to buy food or medicine for the livestock. Okay? A perfected security interest in livestock that secures a loan for buying food or medicine for the livestock has priority over any other security interest in the same livestock, except for a perfected purchase money security interest in the livestock. So for this priority to apply, the creditor providing the loan for food or medicine must notify the holder of any conflicting perfected security interest in writing before the grantor or the borrower receives possession of the food or medicine. So for example, si Farmer A would take a loan from Bank X to buy food and medicine for their cattle. Si Bank X perfects its security interest on the cattle by notifying Bank Y, which already has a perfected interest in the same cattle. Si Bank Y did not provide a loan for food or medicine. Naray utang si Farmer A. Okay? So, ang Bank X security interest, which was perfected by the notification, takes priority over Bank Y security interest in the cattle, as long as ang food or medicine was provided first. Okay? Now, for Section 25, with regard to the fixtures, accessions, and commingled goods, no? Um, this only means na um, ang movable properties that become part of immovable property, um, and other goods or mixed with other goods, no? Ang rule ani is that a perfected security interest in movable property that becomes a fixture, goes through accession, or is commingled continues to be valid, provided nga the movable property can still be reasonably traced. So long as matrace na nimo gihapon, no, you can still extend the PMSI over it, or the perfected security interest in the movable property. For example, si Company B takes a loan and uses a large generator as collateral. The generator is installed in the building and becomes a fixture, no, attached to the building. So even though it is now a fixture, the perfected security interest in the generator remains valid because it is traceable as the original collateral. For an accession example, si C buys a vehicle and attaches a custom-made cargo box to it. The cargo box is considered an accession. So kung si C has a perfected security interest in the vehicle, it will apply to the cargo box as well, as long as the box is reasonably traceable to the original vehicle. Okay? Kaning commingled goods, example, ang store ning gamit og kwarta, no, from various sources and commingles it in a bank account. Now, if that store had a perfected security interest in the funds used to buy goods and those funds were commingled with other funds, ang security interest continues to apply, provided the commingled funds are traceable. Okay? Again ha, kaning section 24, ang security interest in livestock that finances the purchase of food or medicine has priority over other securities, as long as notification is provided before receiving the supplies. Okay? Sa Section 25, a security interest remains valid even if movable property becomes a fixture, is added to the property, or is commingled, as long as it remains traceable. Okay? With respect or with reference to the Civil Code of the Philippines for ownership determinations. Okay? So kaning mga provisions, no, this actually ensure the protection of secured creditors and their rights over property that changes form or becomes part of other assets. Okay? So kani siya katong giing ganiha nga PPSR, no, the LRA has already established a registry, no, where you can actually upload a notice there nga kani nga particular item, kani nga particular property na ay security interest ang usa ka tawo over this. Okay? So we call that as the PPSR, or the Personal Property Security Registry, where you can register everything there. Okay. And then in section 28, you can see here the provision considered ang notice as sufficient here. So kindly read it. By the way, kani nga to ang PPSA, no? This is tailored with the UNCITRAL Model Law on Secure Transactions. If you have time, you can also check it, no? So international standard ang provision. Ani mo nang medyo maglisod ta og sabot. But if you really read through the law, the entire law, and its IRR, ako nagipang upload, no, tanan, you can see it and you can really appreciate the provisions, which are really good provisions, no? Kay gi-address niya ang tanan nga mga issues which would arise, no, relating to personal property security or security interest over personal properties. Okay? So palihog lang kog basa ani nga mga provisions, and okay, here kaning mga continuation of notice, termination on the effectiveness of the notice, makita na dito sa PPSR. Okay? Now, you might ask, for example, dili siya kabayad doon sa may mga pwedeng mahimo ni secured creditor over the security interest of the collateral. Okay? So, pwede no, mauning daghan siyang pwedeng mahimo. Pwede niya nga i-auction, pwede niyang gamiton katong provision in the control agreement. So palihog kog basa ani guys na lang kaning enforcement of security interest. Okay? So a person who is entitled to receive our notification is entitled to redeem the collateral by paying or otherwise performing the secured obligation in full, including the reasonable cost of enforcement. Yan na po'y right of redemption, no? The person entitled to redeem has not, after the default, waived in writing the right to redeem. The collateral is sold or otherwise disposed of, acquired, or collected by the secured creditor until the conclusion of the agreement by the secured creditor for that purpose, or the secured creditor has retained the collateral. So, pwede nang ma-exercise diha ang right of redemption. Okay? So, pwede no nga ang secured creditor may take possession of the collateral without judicial process if the security agreement so stipulates, provided that the possession can be taken without a breach of peace. Okay? So, kana secured creditor, no, pwede gid ay siya makatake possession of the collateral without going to court. However, the secured creditor must ensure nga the repossession is done peacefully and without causing a disturbance. Okay? So, if mo default ang debtor sa iyang loan or agreement, a secured creditor is entitled to take the collateral back directly without judicial intervention. However, the creditor must respect the peace and cannot use force, intimidation, or violence to take possession. So, essentially, dapat smooth siya and conflict-free, okay? For the reposition on fixtures, reposition when peaceful reposition is not possible, for the breach of peace, no, you just browse through the provision in section 47. Okay? Now kani, 'di ba sa foreclosure of chattel mortgage on the things sold, 'di ba? Ang sa foreclosure, no, ang things sold, no, if mopili ang creditor og foreclosure, it will bar man, 'di ba, of any recovery for deficiency. Unya if na ay, 'di ba, if na deficiency di man siya ka-recover. If you can remember in your 1484 kaning under sa recto law, no, recto law man na kanang 1484, in a contract of sale of personal property on installment basis, ang vendor may exercise any of the following, di ba? Exact fulfillment, cancellation of the sale, or foreclosure of chattel mortgage. Usa ra gid na alternative man nga remedy pumupili ang creditor ani o foreclosure mortgage, di ba? Kung may deficiency, dili naman siya makarecover. Ang question now, since di ba na naman tayo, wala naman tong chattel mortgage law, na tayo PPSA. The question is, same ra ba gihapon ang rule with respect to the recovery of the deficiency? Ningon si Aquino, no, which I also subscribe, no, na, ingon siya, it is submitted that the effect of the PPSA on the recto law is merely to replace the third remedy of foreclosure with the remedy of enforcement through public or private sale of the collateral. So in view of the purpose of the recto law, it is believed that the PPSA should not be construed as having removed the third remedy and the prohibition on recovery of deficiency in case of foreclosure. It is submitted that the cases covered by recto law are exceptions secure to Section 52B of the PPSA because the evil sought to be prevented now by the recto law still exists. So again, niingon si Aquino na if na deficiency during the public or private sale, no, or auction of the collateral, still wala kay ma-recover nga deficiency. Okay? That's according to Aquino, which I also subscribe, no, opinion that I also subscribe. Basically, upang ko kabasa og balaag sana kaso ani, no, kay medyo relatively new pa man ang pag-enforce ani and pag-up sa ilahang registry. But let's hope na same ra gyud gihapon na no deficiency because same ra man gyud gihapon ang evil sought to be prevented ani, di ba? Kay for example, ang ning bid ready ay during the private sale or public sale maybe, no, is the creditor and iyarang paliton for a very low price ang collateral. Okay, kakuha mo. So kung very low price ang collateral, dili siya enough to cover the obligation of the debtor. Unya, kung imo siya ni-allow to recover, nya ito ang value gyud actually sa collateral is more than enough to pay for the obligation, alkansi kaayo ang debtor, di ba? Di nagi siya kabayad, imo pa gyud siyang paninglan sa deficiency. So that's the evil sought to be prevented by recto law. Why? If the creditor would opt to foreclose the chattel mortgage, dili na siya kasik og recovery for the deficiency. So same gihapon I think ang rule ana with respect to the PPSA. Okay? So diha no sa atong PPSA naha their right to dispose of the collateral. Mo tong ganiha, it could be done publicly or privately. Mura gyapon siya auction, okay? And in fact, this will be done in the registry. If you check out the registry na diha na auction diha nga section, you can see there, okay? Unya in disposing pa gyud the collateral, no, kailangan commercially reasonable manner ang pamaagi. Okay? So please check out the provisions, no, of the PPSA, especially on the enforcement also kay basig pangutan-on mo ana. So kani notification dapat na 10 days before disposition of the collateral, paibaw mo ang grantor, the secured creditor, the persons nga pwedeng na ikatungod over the particular property that may be sold publicly or privately. Okay, so kindly browse through that. The application of proceeds, na rights of the buyers and other third persons, kindly check that. And then retention of collateral by secured creditor. You can also opt to retain the collateral, no? If ever dili pa masatisfy ang secured obligation. Alright? So I hope nakasabot ra mo, no? I hope na aratay na sabtan, no, with the discussion on the PPSA. I hope to also upload more um discussions on our remaining topics, NIL and FRIA. Okay? So thank you and good luck on your pre-mock bar exams.